A very Merry Christmas from Retrounlim.com. No, not Sky One. Forget that says that on that pleasingly retro television. Pretend it says Retrounlim.com. Welcome. You have reached the end of the world hotline. Please leave your cheesy mid-90s video game television show after this over-the-top introduction. Season's greetings to one and all. It is I, Harry Yack, that annoying northern bloke / Yack. I hope you're ready for a game of Christmas cliché bingo. Eyes down, look in. Blisters on your fingers, campers Christmas. Brussels sprouts, get it out? Oh, I don't know, enough of that. Oh, Dad, Andy Collins is trying to sneak into the house dressed as Santa Claus again. I'll give him a good kick in the nuts for me. Gladly. We have enough wannabe stand-up comedians in this house as it is. And what can I tell you about this lot? Well, I am the only person who lives here, which begs the question of who I was just talking to. Moving on, here is Jeremy Daldry. Thank goodness we've moved on from that comedy sketch there. It's actually just a great big excuse to go and set up the next sketch, which is exactly what they do in Monty Python Live. Oh, how dare I mention Games World and Monty Python Live in the same sentence. I'm going to be haddock slapped for that now. Oh dear, my Caligas heater just went out, and I'm not lying. Oh, here's Santa Claus with a box. Now, are they all going to get out of this? Well, that was even more predictable than a Harry Yack commentary Yack watches. It's going to get creepier though, if I remember correctly, because this kid keeps his two mates locked away in his room. Look, he lives in his wardrobe, and his other mate lives in his bed. Oh dear, I believe social services are on the way. Considering they have a pet crow. Didn't Dennis the Menace have a pet crow? He's the only other person in the world I've ever heard of having a pet crow. Don't cry, lads. I suppose it isn't much different than having a pet parrot, however, because they can talk. Well, they can't actually talk. They can mimic human speech, but they can't communicate with other people. I suppose they're much like me in that sense. No, is this all we really used to talk about when we were 10 years old? No, I can't remember. No, I can't remember what I did an hour ago. In fact, I can't remember what I'm doing right now. Who are you? What is this?
That's it.
That is it, indeed. Luckily, I have my index cards with me here, so everything's going to be okay, Yack Watchers. Oh, very, very inventive link that was. Is he wearing a onesie? He's wearing a onesie, isn't he? Either that or a jumpsuit. As Jeremy flicks his very 90s haircut back, I will give you a fast fact about him. Harry Yack's Fast Facts. Jeremy Daldry starred in Micro Machines 2 Turbo Tournament as one of the playable characters. Violet Berlin was in there as well, I believe, but I'm not sure who the fat bloke was then. We always used to rename him Ponk for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Just like there is no reason for putting reindeer antlers on the fancy box. Oh, come on, 'tis this season. Let's go overboard. Let's put tinsel on cups and post-it notes and stuff.
Sega Mega Drive, plus 32X, plus Psycho Pinball. What a bevy of Christmas goodies that is. But of course, you don't get it for nothing. You have to play our challenges, which include...
Oh, I was hoping I could win them by playing some terrible video games.
With Samurai Showdown. And some Super Punch-Out boxing. But first up, Clay Fighters 2.
Okay, I don't like any of those games, so I'm gonna turn off. See you next week! Only joking. I'm kind of committed to this now. But that is something I used to do when I was 10 years old. I used to watch the first 5 minutes to see which games were going to be featured that evening. And if none of the games were to my taste, then I'd go and watch the Flintstones on Cartoon Network or something. Although I think that used to go off at 6:45 for Japanese anime cartoons, which I never watched. I always found them rather bizarre, and I still do to a great extent.
You keep concentrating. Andy, we've got somebody who's going to beat you.
Oh, what are you doing sticking your head up that chimney? He's getting high off the coal fumes. Incidentally, I'll let you in on a big secret. That's all my ancestors used to do. I'm from the industrial north, by the way. As if you didn't know.
Jeremy taught me all I know. Anyway, let's go and meet this team. Here they are.
Yes, let's go and meet the team in this suitably 90s living room. Ah, it reminds me of Noel's house party. They had a segment on that show called NTV. That stands for Noel TV, by the way, not MTV, as in music television. Viacom, if you're watching this, please don't sue me, please.
Jeremy, you're ugly and you've got no dress sense.
What can I say? The public...
Oh dear, a cheap shot at Jeremy there. But on NTV, they used to cut live to someone's living room where they were live on television. And they would be shocked because Noel would click his fingers and they would appear just like that on telly. And then they would go, oh my goodness, I'm on television. I didn't know that other people put them up to it. I just presumed that they had cameras in everybody's living room up and down the country. And in fact, on a couple of occasions on Saturday evenings, I spent a bit of time looking around for these hidden cameras, making sure I wouldn't be on Noel's house party that night. And I watched the first half of the show very uncomfortable, thinking that indeed I would be the star of the show. And somehow we got from that to the Retrounlim live stream.
Well done, Jamie. You've got to pick a prize. Excellent.
Looking back, it is quite disturbing how many television shows did this, going to people's living rooms to film the programmes. I guess it was cheaper than to rent out the studios because, of course, they were upwards of £100 a day. Or, if you lived in London, £5 million. Oh, geez, the exchange rate between Wigan and London is astronomical, believe me.
Selection of games. And there they are. They will be sent off to you.
Wow, those games looked awesome.
And he's doing that dance. Let's hope Santa Claus brings you some taste. Hey, Andy, 'cause that dance really is quite hard.
Let's hope Santa Claus brought him some taste indeed. But let's raise the level of this, because I'm becoming as disinterested as the contestants on this show.
Away merrily to itself. If you'd like to fax us something, fax us anything you like on 0717536.
Fax number? Right, listen to me. Who of you out there had a fax in your house? Ever? I mean, not just in the 90s or the 80s, but ever. The only place that I've ever seen a fax machine is at work. I suppose they were too expensive for home use, unless you were working out of your house, or you lived in London and you were very, very rich.
Then, Tony, 'cause it's a platformer.
Enough political issues.
Mario All-Stars.
Right, now we're going to see a classic piece of Games World show rigging. But hold on.
Just quickly, you are a football fan?
Pardon?
You're a football fan?
Yeah.
Who do you support?
Please don't say Man United.
Liverpool.
Yes, haha.
See if you can do as well as Liverpool does on this game. Off you go, Tony.
Yes, because of course Bruce Grobbelaar has been on this show and he's done fantastically well at this game. But here we go with something highly suspicious. This kid only sounds as if he is 5 years old. Yet somehow he does fantastically well here. Just look how many of these coin thingy-majigs he picks up. Quite amazing considering he's using his own telephone keypad. And I can't even use my blasted smartphone, so how can this 6-year-old kid use a traditional rotary dial phone to play this game? It is impossible.
5 seconds, and like I said to Tony,
Playing video games with a rotary dial phone, imagine that. Yes, it was a reality in the 90s. Forget reality TV. This was reality TV.
good score. Over to you.
Ah, what's he going to do with that knife? Oh no, he's going to go on a murdering rampage. No, Andy, no. Oh, okay. It's the turkey called Terence. That's okay.
Okay, and we're going to be eating him later on. I cannot wait. Okay, let's go.
Yes, it does look very appetizing, that turkey. However, it's probably cold by now because it's just a televisual prop.
I've got Nick. Now, Nick...
I once saw on a television program that a trade secret is to use a wet tampon to simulate the steam coming from the turkey. That kind of ruins the experience for you all, though, and I kind of wish I hadn't said it. You cannot unhear it now, boy. However, it's probably a load of bunkum anyway. Oh, I nearly swore then.
I have one thing and one thing and...
I did try to look it up on the internet, but got distracted by certain other things when I typed in tampons. As usually happens with the internet. It's simultaneously the saviour and scourge of humanity.
Which won't help his performance. 12 seconds ago, he's got a bit stuck. Oh dear, that's bad news. That won't help with gem collecting.
Come on, get moving! What is this kid doing? Oh, he's just basically letting the other kid win. Or maybe he just gave up. Like Wigan Athletic FC, and I'm gonna stop talking about football.
9 gems versus 45 gems. I know which one is bigger. It's mine, it's Tony's. Tony, you there?
Oh, yes! Subtle innuendo from the Hewland team. Well done. I can just imagine the floor people standing there sniggering.
You have won some animal life videos. So the other will pass it back to you.
Hold on a minute. That video was a 15 certificate. The kid was clearly 5 years old. What is this? Oh no, trading standards are going to shut Games World down. Ah, now we know why the show ended. Electric Eddie was telling us porkies.
What happened, mate?
I was thinking too much about Terence.
Thinking
It blew
too
my
much.
mind.
Oh, bless.
You get the feeling the whole Terence thing was scripted, don't you? Oh, I wonder what gave me that idea. But this is a forfeit. Oh, there's one of the floor crew that sniggered earlier.
Your head like that. And now that's not just...
Oh no, this is a waste of a good Christmas pudding. No.
Because now, we're going to do... What did I say? Hey, look, put that there, because you, pal, are going to get this.
It's time to get slimed, my boy. Oh my goodness. Don't worry, that's not real custard. It's just synthetic custard. They wouldn't fork out for expensive Lions custard.
Samurai Showdown on the Super Nintendo.
But yes, they had all sorts of inventive, in air quotes, forfeits for the kids to do if they failed.
Will go out. I need a player. I've got a top player lined up. I've got Stephen Pritchard. Stephen, you there?
Hi.
How you doing, Steve?
All right.
We have another kid who's at home using his phone to control the game. Now actually, I've mentioned this in a previous commentary on the House of Games. They did a feature on a special machine, I've forgotten the name of it, but it was a teletext rip-off and should be destroyed. Hence, nobody's remembered about it. Everybody remembers teletext, but nobody remembers that stupid abomination of a machine. However, I believe they used it for Games World Live. You may get one or two shots of what the kids are using for a controller here. It's not an actual video game controller. It's a special controller manufactured by some weird corporation.
12 of them that are watching.
Gonna win. Mwah.
Oh, and he loves you, he's blown you. And that's sweet. Isn't it sweet? Call me Cilla Black, that's lovely. Okay, as Jeremy Georgie would say, 2-1-3, where are the faxes? Let's go. Off you go.
What? I'm sorry? Did he just say, were the fex this? You can't say that on children's television. And after that, Andy Collins never worked in television again. That's a slight lie, actually, because Andy Collins still does warm-up work for numerous shows. That's if Wikipedia is to be believed, and it isn't, because up to last week, that entry read, Andy Collins was a Muppet in the British Army for 2 years. And I'm not kidding. But he is a big Twitterer, and his account, @AndyShowbiz, is slightly more reliable. He does indeed support Watford, as evidenced by his tweets, so he wasn't just wearing a Watford shirt as a dare in my previous Games World Live commentary. Congratulations, kid! You've won so you don't have to do the stupid forfeit, which I'm guessing you have to put your head in the turkey or an unnamed other part of your anatomy.
I'm not going to argue you. Mr. Perfect, you are indeed. Okay, time for you to pick an animal. Which one do you want?
Panda, please.
We're going to go for the panda. Jezzy, what have we won? Superb.
Mr. Perfect, he was picking his nose there, just off the reader's side. That's very perfect to do. What's on the panda? You have won something which is wonderful.
What's he won? Come on, tell us. Spit it out. Come on.
Take that.
Oh! Hold on a minute, they looked nothing like Take That. They were the cheap knockoff version of Take That.
In real life, they're not.
It says a lot of how much they actually valued that prize, that Games World did not do a front-on shot, rather obscured half of it with a piece of tinsel.
For me, does it? Mystery box. though, is here. There it is, being held by Joe. Mystery Box has got the horn this week. Rather bizarre.
What? Strike number 2, Games World. And this was the last ever show. Oh, I've already done that joke, haven't I? On with the show.
Go away. We'll see you real soon.
Oh, we're gonna go for a break, actually. Actually, forget that. We can't have commercial products on this channel. It's a stipulation in my contract. Now, what am I on about? My contract is basically something scribbled on a wall somewhere that the council came and washed off the next day. Uh-oh, that could potentially be incriminating. It's a good job I didn't say where I signed the contract.
But I want to know what these lads...
At the bottom. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Take that, dolls.
Yes.
Diamondback Viper.
What's that?
It's a BMX.
Oh, of course it is. Does it come with stabilisers?
Of course, got to be safe.
You've got to be safe. You've got to be safe on those bikes. And over here we've got Nicky.
Yes, I'm beginning to think they aren't saying this stuff off the cuff, are they? Oh, and I thought that was a different kid. But it's the guy who got slimed earlier. He's probably been crying in the corner the fact that he got slimed by Andy Collins and not Noel from Noel's house party. Oh well, when he grew up, he was thankful of this fact. I don't want anything to do with that swine from Deal or No Deal. Never mind the internet, that's the scourge of modern civilization.
Hey, you on the phones? Back to you, Jez.
Yes, Andy Claus, I've had enough of you, and I've not bought you anything at all for Christmas. Why do I sound like Sandy Toksvig? I'm supposed to be doing an impression of Jeremy Daldry, and he's got some styling gel. Oh, the witty banter in this show. It cracks me up every time.
By Joe. Suitably adorned. Our mystery box for number and the clue is on the screen and animated.
Oh, what were those bleeping noises? Were they trying to phone a contestant up, but somebody was using the internet in another room? Dial-up did used to do that. Ah, another list of games now. An unnamed list of games. We don't know what this is in reference to. It's just some games that they paid them to put there.
Number 3.
And it's a very pleasant selection of games, The Lion King, yes. And of course, FIFA 95. Do not diss that game. Otherwise, Violet Berlin will come round your house and say, I'm going to punch you like a German goalkeeper. Oh, I'm sorry, Violet. I keep taking the mick out of you. I should not do that. It's very cruel. Hey, come on. This is Christmas time. I should be being kinder, you know, goodwill to all men and women and all that.
Well, I was going to read this one out, but I'm going to now to make me feel better. Hi, Jeremy. Please could you say kiwi fruit and bananas? Kiwi fruit. Bananas. They are to Leslie Paul.
This is Villa TV right now. I'm fairly sure of it. Look at him panicking. He's not actually reading from a piece of paper. He's making those up off the top of his head.
I only want two, and we find out which two we're going to have by playing with Decider. Boxing Day comes early with Super Punch Out. Whoever lands the most punches and the best combinations in 30 seconds will win. Again, only one.
Well, while he's coughing, would you like to hear some more fun facts about Jezza? In inverted commas, because nobody calls him that but Andy. How comical that is. Anyway, apparently, Daldry presented a very short-lived Sky One show called Commercial Break, which, according to UK game shows, killed his career. However, a bit of research reveals this to be total nonsense. He's still in the television business, evidenced by his own Twitter account, @Jeremy_S_D. There's currently a picture of him eating a burger in his car on there. Oh, Twitter, where would we be without you? But I can confirm, however, that he is not following Andy on that site. So I'm thinking the two no longer exchange silly one-liners. Oh, by the way, can you tell where I've been doing most of my research? Hey, at least I did some this time.
290.
And the crowd goes wild for Harry Yack's worst joke of the video.
Fighting man, but he was. He scored 2,290. That's on our scoreboard. You can see it, Tony Durant. 2,290. That's a top score. It shows he's a mean man who you shouldn't mess with. Andy Collins.
Look, there's the controller. You just saw it for a minute there. That's no Super Nintendo controller. That's some high-tech buffoonery, that is. Ugh.
when you go out night clubbing? What is it? It's a dustbin bag. Put it over your head, okay? Because you're ugly. Okay.
Oh, come on, these jokes are totally hateful. He'd be banned from an internet forum for saying stuff like that. Well, most internet forums. But the internet was not invented at this point. Or it was, but nobody had it except a couple of men in the United States with hats. Read into that what you will.
16 seconds on the clock for the moment. He might be old, but he's ducking well forward.
Oh, look at Andy pretending he's enjoying this. Well, he's endured much worse. Indeed, a contestant kicked him in the head during one Season 4 episode. There's footage of it on the internet somewhere. I might link you up in the description. If you want to be hooked up, just see me after school.
But Jamie, as you can see by our scoreboard...
What? I run an after-school video games class. The girl in the background then was laughing because she was just told off camera that there's only 4 minutes to go and then she can go home and enjoy herself for the Christmas holidays and the whole ordeal will be over for another fortnight.
Yeah! Let's go then.
Activate, yes!
Off we go, 30 seconds to beat.
I was speaking earlier about Season 4. We're going to get to that in due course, as I keep promising, but Andy Collins starred alongside David Perry, that's Dave Perry to you, as a co-presenter. Mr. Perry recently did a fascinating interview with the out-of-print archive regarding his career in the gaming industry, and I highly recommend you go and click on that link in the description. And I promise it's not a link to anything dodgy at all.
A lot of moves.
But Perry was instrumental in launching the Games World magazine, which I didn't know existed until I started delving deeper into the rabbit hole.
Leaving us.
Don't worry, it's a long way down, and I'm going to speak at great length about it. Blah 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 blah. Nah, not really. Issues of the magazine occasionally appear on eBay and sell for a few quid, which is about 10 Martian Maclacs.
Alexander?
Hello?
Hello, what's your question about the mystery box game?
I think the answer's hell for that.
Sorry?
Devils come from hell.
Yeah,
From down under.
right, so that's your answer.
Yeah.
I think that's unfortunately wrong. We go on to line 2.
Oh dear, I can feel all my Australian viewers switching off in unison. Oh, actually, they did that long ago, but that poor kid misunderstood the question. They've obviously never seen that cheesy television show.
And there it is, it's Tasmania!
Tasmania, yes!
So all of those will be going...
Strangely, that was a racing game. It was described as a racing game. You run along a road and eat kiwis. Oh, where have we heard kiwis already tonight? Kiwis? And bananas!
DJ.
Who is he fighting? Tony.
Oh, this is the best part of the show. They should have stretched this out to the whole 30 minutes, and I certainly would have watched it all instead of turning off in the first 4.
In the picture.
You can give your answer now.
Unbelievably. Name the...
This is not working, is it, Jeremy? Quickly move on.
Tony.
Tetris 2.
Tetris 2. What is this game called? Name the game.
Tiny Toon Sports. Tiny Toon Sports.
Team Sports.
Tiny Toon Sports. I don't think we can accept that. It's wild and wacky sports. You lose your point.
Oh, Tony, you are an idiot.
3. Tony.
3.
It's 1. Mr. Nuts will be available on the Game Boy. True or false?
Mr. Nuts will be variable on the Game Boy. You read the question wrong. Give him the point.
True. It's still a 10.
Oh, you took the... You evil monsters. You're ruining the kids' Christmas. Oh, Games World. I've had enough of you now, Games World. That's it. I'm never watching another episode again. Probably because I've seen them all on the internet already.
There's a point. Complete this game name. The death and return. That's it. Tony's won. Tony on the phones. Tony, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy, it's time to wrap up, because that is enough Games World for anybody's Christmas.
Very shortly.
I don't know about you, but I'm physically and mentally drained. But the good news is, it's Christmas Day soon, so don't worry, unless it isn't actually Christmas Day soon. Well, I suppose you're never more than 366 days away from Christmas Day, so that's not that long, but it's time to feast on the turkey, yes! And it's good to see that everybody is happy. The whole Terence business was untrue and a fabrication for the sake of television. Ah, entertainment, I hate you. And so do the RSPCA, who, incidentally, are shutting this video down. Nothing to see here. Move along, move along. Go and visit retrounlim.com. Sayonara!